Hey, what's going on, everybody? Bobby Five flying solo today. I haven't heard back from Sheets, so I assume that he's out. Um, I'm happy to be feeling a little bit better, but kind of still not all the way there. This flu is rough. I think that's what happened to Rom. Geez, that was frustrating. That I had a lot of Rom, Scheffler, Svensson. I had 20+% of Svensson, so it's looking pretty good in some lineups. But like the Rom withdrawal, I had Rom double paired, and I didn't play all those 10K plus guys, but where I did, I played them together a lot, and unfortunately, that left me with a lot of Rory and Scheffler and a lot of Rom and Scheffler. So that's very frustrating about Rom. Anyway, it's an interesting NBA slate. There's like speculative news, which I think is important to pay attention to because we have nothing that's there is like to feel that great about. Even like Reggie Jackson, who I actually feel okay about playing on this slate. Don't feel great about it. If Darius Garland is out, I think we kind of have to like play Mitchell and LeVert. I'm okay with those plays anyway, separately, and I think LeVert is already a reasonable play at 4,200. So I'm okay with taking that chance and then just delaying. I'm also going to be in my big buy-in lineups. I right now currently have Fred VanVleet and Anthony Davis as my other spend ups. I didn't play enough lineups tonight to get to some of the other, top spend ups tonight, but the ones I would play, I feel better about Lillard than I do about Jokic and Embiid, which feels weird to say out loud. I do think Embiid might have a huge game here, and it worries me a little bit. I'm just on the Davis side myself. I also think that if you're not going to do those builds, like get Kristaps, Trae Young, a little bit of a game stack there with Beal, I think that's a really good way to go. The only thing that worries me is, again, if Garland's out, you're going to want that value. And at least you can sub with some of the Reggie Jackson stuff. And maybe if you've got multiple plays, you can shift over and turn Reggie Jackson into Karis LeVert and XYZ, depending on who else you have. Other values that I'm biting on are going to be later games that start at 8 because I want to be able to adjust my lineups if that news comes through. Jaden McDaniels is part of the reason why I'm going to be overweight on a play I don't feel all that great about, but I can always change. I have Kevin Love right now instead of John Collins. I don't mind if I end up with Love anyway, but if we get Garland or any other news by 8 Eastern, I'm just playing from ahead if I do that. So that's part of what I'm thinking. But so for me, it would be the first game stack with Atlanta, Washington, a partial last game stack with LA and Toronto. Maybe you just take two pieces like I have with VanVleet and Davis. And then I'm playing for this Cleveland news. And again, if I get stuck with the guys I have, it's not the worst case in the world for me. But if I get what I want, and you get LeVert without him, I just think that becomes like a really good spot. And I think it's going to open up some other spots there. I think Ricky Rubio is another one that will pop off, and you can sub him in for Reggie Jackson if there is no, what's his name? If there's no Garland. So that's sort of what I'm playing, hoping happens. Guys I'm okay with, even if I end up with them anyway, and guys who I basically like, all the other chalk, and I'll go through it. But like, if I was playing a bunch of lineups, I think maybe partly the best way to do this is for me to go through the chalk because that's what I'm doing with my builds. But for everybody else, if I was playing 150 as of right now, I'd probably be near the field, about with the field on Reggie Jackson. Somewhere we're in the 30% range, maybe 40. I would be below the field on Kyle Anderson. I'd be probably ahead of the field on Jaden McDaniels because I can do the swappability. I like Kyle Anderson fine. I just don't think it's like a desired play. Cam Johnson, I'd be just below the field. He's supposed to be 22%. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I'd probably be just below the field. I don't mind him as a pivot off of Reggie Jackson. DeJounte Murray, I would be ahead of the field. Spencer Dinwiddie, I would be with the field. John Collins, I would be with the field. Devin Vassell, I'd be below the field. Royce O'Neal, I'd be above the field. Bruce Brown, I'd be below the field. Kristaps, I would be above the field. Scotty Barnes above the field. Michael Porter Jr. above the field. Denny Avdia above the field. Jamal Murray below the field. Rudy Gobert below the field. Delon Wright below the field. Kyle Kuzma above the field. Siakam above the field. VanVleet above the field. KCP below the field. Mikal Bridges below the field. Trae Young above the field. Bradley Beal above the field. Anthony Davis above the field. DeAndre Hunter with the field, Mike Conley with the field, Kevin Love above the field, Jokic below the field, Embiid above the field, Anunoby and Austin Reeves with the field. That's everybody I have projected at 10% and what I would do with them. Hey man, I'm glad to hear it. Thanks a lot, Brandon. I appreciate it, man. Glad you had a nice one. I'm always happy to see you win, man. I really, it's like the best thing we do is when our guys win, and you know, Brandon is an extension of us. So I really appreciate everything, Brandon, very much. I'm glad you took one down. Hopefully, I take down another one. But guys, fire any of your questions and thoughts, because I'm going through it, but really without news. It's another one of those slates where there's not a whole lot that we've changed since this morning. And I have my core plays up on the site, or I have my core plays up. Actually, I posted them on our premium Discord because I want to start getting people to use it. And I posted my cores up there, and I posted my early builds. I think that, you know, I'm pretty straightforward on the way I'm treating this slate. I'm not saying it's the only way to treat the slate. It's just what I'm choosing to do. And I think I actually like what I'm doing. I mentioned that most of my guys are pretty low owned, so I'm not all that worried about ownership because I sort of have, you know, I'm taking the gamble that Garland's out. And if I don't find out, and I find out before that Garland's in, then I will adjust accordingly and basically get more of this exposure to the Atlanta-Washington game. DeLon Wright is completely fine on FanDuel. I think he's going to be fairly popular. I took the below the field stance on him if I was playing a bunch of lineups. I think I would try to be there, but he's going to be really easy to, like, he makes a lot of things work on FanDuel. So I actually like him better on FanDuel. I get it, Clay. I'm totally fine with it. Hey, what's up? What's up, Sam? Good to see you, buddy. I feel good about Dame. Jokic is not doing anything. There's no motivation for Denver to do anything. They basically have the 1 seed locked up. This game is in hand. They're spreading the ball out. Jokic is still playing perfect basketball. He's just not being – they don't need him to be as aggressive. They're letting Jamal Murray get off. Jokic's usage rate is way down. It doesn't really matter because they're going to win the West. So I'm sort of avoiding guys like that down the stretch. I will play Embiid more down the stretch than I do Jokic, and I think this would be a good example. And to answer the question about Lillard, I think Lillard is a spectacular tournament play because I don't think he's getting any love at all because of Simons being back. I do think that I would have Lillard and Embiid very close. I'd try to be ahead of the field on those guys, and I'd be behind the field on Jokic. Look, it's going to burn me sometimes when I do that in a great matchup for Jokic, but as of right now, I'm not overly worried about it. Jokic, you know what? The last time he had the 160 game, he had that monster game against the Clippers. But other than that, we mostly haven't seen the same usage out of him. I just talked all about that, TJ. If you want to listen to, I talked about every play I'm making and every play that everybody I'd be above and below the field on. So yes, I am planning on as if Garland's out, and even if I get stuck with my lineups, I'm in a better shape than everybody else is. Rubio, if Garland's out, it's Rubio and I just talked about all this. I literally just talked about all of this. If he's out, then it's everyone. It's Mitchell, Rubio, LeVert. I'm not playing Raul Neto at all. No problem. Just rewind the thing and then fire on in your questions because you'll have time to catch up a little bit. It's no problem, DJ. It's just funny because right when I finish a sentence, I'm like, oh shit, I just said that. Troy Brown is a guy who's he plays a ton of minutes. I think he's a completely fine tournament play tonight. I like that he gives you flexibility. I like that he's playing a lot of minutes when they're in their competitive games, but he's not an exciting play to make, that's for sure. But I do think he's viable more so than he's being looked at. But maybe the guy that I could recommend you play instead of Troy Brown would be, if you can get him in, he's a little cheaper actually, it would be Austin Reeves. He's a big part of what they do as a Laker fan. I'm just telling you, a lot of nights that happens. What's up to my man MJ in chat? Guys, but it's basically a questions and answers point at this point. And look, if I've already said it, I'm okay with saying it again if I have to. But I was just sort of teasing because it was literally right when I finished my thought on it, we started talking about it again. But now I'm happy to talk about anything. I like Austin Reeves a lot as a basketball player. He plays. He can play, man. He's aggressive. All right. What else do we have, guys? Drop it in for me. Let's see if there's anything else we got to talk about. Mostly we're just waiting on news and starting lineups. Again, just to reiterate, to go back, I like the Atlanta-Washington stack if you're not going to play for the news in Cleveland as much, but I'm really into playing for that news. And also I can just adjust my lineups anyway. If I make 8 o'clock my lock time. The problem is it does worry me not to have at the Atlanta-Washington game. So I've got guys like, I didn't mention him. I think Bogdanovich is a better play than he's being treated. They're trying to he's going to get minutes. He's going to get a chance. That's all you can really ask for. And he's a gunner. If we're talking about all these other value plays, why can't I play the one who can get me 40 if things go right? Yeah, Rubio is in if Garland's out. Just to make that clear, I'm just going to write that in here. Rubio, good if Garland out. I still think that LeVert's the main one you want to play along with Mitchell. Let's see. Can you play all three? Beal, you could do that. You better be playing. Well, I don't know how you're going to financially do that. I guess you play Trey and Collins on the other side, or you play Collins and Bogdanovich on the other side. But yeah, that's the only way I would do it is if I'm playing 2 from the other side. But I do like that if you are going to play 2 from the other side. Denver hasn't officially locked it up. I'm just saying they basically have. There's not a whole lot for them to look at. Yeah, Reggie Jackson is. That's why I'm playing Reggie Jackson. I don't understand that question exactly, but Reggie Jackson is a totally reasonable value play tonight because of the nature of the slate. He wouldn't be. We wouldn't look at him in most 9 gamers, most Friday slates, but this is not one of those. And we're starving for value. Which the good thing about his value is he also comes at 8 o'clock, so we'll have the news, and you can just swap over to Ricky Rubio instead. Between Van Vliet and Podol, I like Van Vliet better than Podol. Spurs game may be competitive, but who cares? It doesn't matter. There's Jokic is playing with Porter and Murray. Look at his numbers this year, and then look at them with both those guys playing. When he has the monster games, usually one of those guys is out. Yeah, another Bogdanovich for Snyder. Nothing on DeJounte. I mentioned DeJounte. I talked about all of this stuff, guys. TJ, you can come late, but you can't say nothing on DeJounte when I've already talked about that whole game. I don't know how we can have that. You know what I mean? That's not the way this thing works. If you come late and then you say, "Oh, but you haven't said this," I'm like, "Well, I did say that. You just weren't here." Edwards is a tournament flyer. Not loving what I'm seeing from a DFS perspective. But I do think they're trying to play just better basketball in general, and getting Conley in there has taken away a little bit of him playing the 1. So I'm not into Edwards particularly. Bruce Brown or KCP, not especially interested in either of them. If I had to pick one, it would be Brown, but I'm not trying to play those guys. Brown would be the one I'd pick though. Cam Johnson is going to be the chalk. Of course you like him. Chalky play. Trey and Rubio or Murray and Hunter? I like Trey and Rubio better only if Garland's out, though. I can't answer that question without knowing about Garland. I don't like Rubio better. Well, I think then the play would just become, no, I don't like Rubio better if Garland's in. I think Rubio's fine if Garland's in, but I'm not trying to spend down to that price just to hope I get 20 instead of 5 minutes out of Rubio. Garland wasn't that shoot around. I'm playing that narrative, so that's where we're going. So the clock starts at 8 o'clock. If you guys are premium members, I'll be in Discord answering everything, firing on up till 8 o'clock. But I don't know what to do in the meantime. We can talk about questions, or just I can keep repeating what I just talked about. But I really don't know what else to cover. So let me know what you guys are trying to figure out, and I'm happy to answer it for the remaining time that we'll stay on here. Let me just make sure I have my alarm set so I can double check the lineups. Okay, I have that. Yeah, I think Cam Johnson is a good play. I don't think there's anything wrong with Cam Johnson. We already talked about that. Yeah, so I like the idea of either stacking the Atlanta-Washington game, taking the cheap piece in like Bogdanovich or Avdia. Yeah. What does that mean? The Wizards haven't been resting Beal. We know they haven't been resting Beal. What does that mean? Beal's been getting after it because they're desperately trying to make the playoffs for some reason. Let me see. Sheets updated the projections. All right, I'll mention something right now to our guy in the chat. All right, but they're up on the site. So if you have the eligibility to look on SaberSim, you definitely have the eligibility on the site. So I would just suggest you look at it on the site and then compare. I'm sorry, I'll get it straightened away. This is happening too much. All right, that's just me trying to fix the thing. All right, favorite 60 DraftKings 6,200 or under on DraftKings. All right, good question. I'm not using him that much, but Jared Allen would probably be my answer. If I'm in that price range, I guess Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's the chalky answer. Jared Allen's the better tournament one, I would say. All right. Well, guys, with that, I'm going to get out of here. I apologize to you not being able to see it in there, David. I'm going to make sure to get that straightened out, but I'm sorry. We might have to go back and forth today. I just mentioned it to them. Let's see. Two of them more than us is just muddle the message. Yeah. That's how I feel about other shows. And I was like this at RG, and we would do shows that were supposed to be an hour in like 20 minutes. And I just feel like suggesting 50 other things to just complicate your thoughts, unless you're max entering, we don't need to talk about all this. That's why I went through all the players of substance that I wasn't, what I would do, that everyone is being owned. We want to just tell you the direct message of what we're doing. We also have the best, with Sheets projections and Goldie's in every other sport is literally the aggregate projection from everyone in the industry. I don't see why you wouldn't want to join that. So I hope that you guys are enjoying that. And we've got a bunch of new tools and new things. We've got, life is just getting settled back down for me. So we're getting pretty excited about that. But we got a lot of new things to roll out. Yes, Kevin Love is playable. He's in my lineup right now. But again, I'm going to wait to see how that rest of that Cleveland news breaks out. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all. Please like and subscribe before you get out of here. And tell your friends, check out the site, jump into Discord. We love our community. And then if you're a premium member, make sure you're in the premium Discord and let me know if you have any issues and we will get it straightened away. Appreciate you all. Good luck to your golf lineups. Good luck to our NBA lineups tonight. And let's make some money. And I will be in Discord.